Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, along with Phil Altvater. We check in on the world of golf to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. They will cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, fantastic. Hey, did you know that this was the 16th event of the year and the PGA Tour's 2021 and 22 season is a third over? We haven't had any real big events yet. They're coming up pretty quick, but man, have we had some drama off the golf course supplied by Greg Norman's Saudi-backed Super Golf League. Who's going to take the guaranteed money? Who will stay? Who's going to go? Things becoming a little bit more clear in this past week, right?
I think the past 7 days have maybe put some nails in the coffin, or at least a big time coffin for the Super Golf League, right? Because there is a cliche, right? That we were waiting for that first domino to fall, and then the others will go and follow, right? Well, it did happen, but it seems to happen the other way because nobody, after supposedly 20 players will already sign up, they were going to go there. All we saw right now is the big guns say no. I mean, we have seen in the past week John Ram say absolutely not. I don't do this for the money. There's legacies and stuff that I do this for. Then in the Genesis, you saw Colin Morikawa, you saw Will Zalatoris, just to name a few, came out and say, look, we're not going there. It's not happening. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so it was one after the other. But still, there were some questions regarding two big names. It was Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau. They're considering it. They still haven't played. It seems like they're going there. It's all that thing happened. But no, it didn't happen. It happened the other way. So both of them came out with they came out with statements saying blatantly, no, we're not going there. All that is this being said, we're not going. This is where we're staying on the PGA Tour. So really, and we talked about Phil Mickelson's comments about the Saudi League last week and what it meant to him. And I think, Fred, to me, we don't know if those comments really hurt more trying to get people going to the Saudi League, because if you see everything that he said, I mean, I'm not gonna say it all, but basically when he say, we know they killed the Khashoggi, have a horrible record in human rights, they execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all this, why would I even consider it? Man, I mean, if you want to promote something, that's not the way to do it. And I think putting it out there so blatantly really click something in the minds of the players as well. I mean, swiftly that conversation changed. And so if players at the time were like, yeah, we're considering it, after that, how can you really consider it? I mean, we had talked about upwards of 20 players. Apparently we're going to be there, but even Rory McIlroy said, hey, who's left to go? I mean, there's no one. That's what Rory was saying. I mean, a lot of players were just hitting back at Phil Mickelson, who right now, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but seems to have hurt himself more than anything. Billy Horschel was another one, and I think his take is pretty spot on, because it had been rumored that maybe in 2025 he would be the Ryder Cup captain. He says, I don't think so. It's not happening right now, the way that this is working. There's other players who's left. I don't know, Fred, maybe some European Tour players that would they don't have the ability to earn the money or go to the PGA Tour. Maybe some older players. I mean, Adam Scott, Lee Westwood, maybe Justin Rose, Henrik Stenson, who knows, Ian Poulter. Fred, how about this? I mean, finally we think definitely, I don't see anybody big time from the PGA Tour coming out now and say, hey, we're going to join there after all this storm that Phil Mickelson really created, I believe, against the Super Golf League.
Yeah, it's been really interesting to watch. I mean, we've been covering this story now for what, a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. And it just kind of kept going like a snowball, kind of kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But it seems like now maybe it's kind of coming to a head. And I guess it has to, because the Asian Tour wants to start their season in March in Thailand. So they want to get some of these guys on board to make a big splash. You know, we had Kramer Hickok, who was Jordan Spieth's roommate in college at UT, saying that, hey, there's 20 guys that are going to go to this Asian Tour thing. Well, maybe there's 20 guys, but they're not the top guys, because 8 out of the 10 top guys in the world in the OWGR have already said, no, we're not going. So maybe some of these lesser guys are going to go, and that's fine, because they can't make the kind of money in the United States that they can make over there. Maybe if they work a little harder and pay their dues here, maybe they could down the road. But if you can grab the quick cash, maybe it's a thing to do. Don't know. You know, got to walk a mile in their shoes, kind of thing. Who wins and who loses in this deal? Carlos, I've got Rory McIlroy coming out as a really big winner in this deal, okay? Rory said early on in this whole process, no, there's no reason why I want to do this. I'm going to play the PGA Tour. I'm going to play some events in Europe. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm good here. Then also this week, you know, after his round, he finished top 10 this week, by the way. I mean, he had nice, consistent rounds too. He didn't, you know, they were all like right around 67, 68. He had a nice week. So listen to this. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Rory said this on Sunday. I thought they, which he was referring to Phil's comments, were naive, selfish, egotistical, and ignorant. Ignorant. It was just very surprising and disappointing, sad. I'm sure he's sitting at home sort of rethinking his position and where he goes from here. So if Rory's a big winner in this deal, the big loser in this whole thing is Phil Mickelson, right? And you know, Phil kind of had all the doors open to him. Winning the PGA Championship last year at Kiawah, you know, still being able to play now on the regular tour, even though he's over 50, he could jump over and play the Champions Tour and pick up a couple checks and a couple trophies whenever he felt like it. He could do some TV gigs. He's very good on TV. He's got great sponsors. You know, he could do all the corporate events and all that kinds of, I mean, he had every door open to him, and he gets all hung up over this media rights thing and tries to leverage this Asian Tour against the PGA Tour. He comes off looking like a big dope, Carlos.
He does, but what's next for him now, right? I mean, you can reinvent yourself and say, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. I was misguided. I don't know. He has a good PR team that couldn't try to make his reimage again. It's not going to be instant, but definitely, I mean, he has lost a lot of respect from a lot of the players because at the end of the day, I understand that the tour is not perfect. We have never claimed for it to be perfect. Not even the players will say it, but it is what it is for them. That's their way of living right now. That's their job, the way that they get the money. And you're just throwing poo-poo at it right now, the way that you're saying it. You know, instead of getting together with them and trying to look and say, hey, we should get this, we should try to attack at this front to obtain these things. Don't try to go around and leverage this. What was behind Phil Mickelson really trying to get this attention on it? I don't know. Money, well, maybe, but we know he's made enough money in his lifetime to not need any more.
Well, he's certainly not guilty of obnoxious greed.
Maybe he was reflecting something, right? But at the same time, now I see, and maybe the only path forward for him, it would be to actually go there and play, because hey, you said all these things, now you have to see it through. If you go back, you're gonna really look even worse, because you lost already the respect. The only thing that you can try to see is try to make it work. There with Greg Norman, maybe you can get something started and eventually somebody will jump. But I really don't see things working out for Phil, at least in the near future, moving forward.
Nope, no, not me at all. I think he really hurt himself with this thing, Carlos. It just looks bad from a lot of different perspectives. And I want to, before we get away from this tonight, I just want to say one thing real quick too. You know, we like to take shots sometimes at the PGA Tour, at the USGA, at the PGA. They turn a lot of money. They have really big bank accounts, and it seems like there's a lot of things that they could be doing with some of that money, you know, helping golf in general around the country and around the world. You know, it's been rumored and been said that the PGA Tour is sitting on $800 million in their bank account. That does not surprise me. I know that the PGA of America about 4 or 5 years ago had 400 million in the bank then, and so I'm sure they have at least 600 to 700 now. With that being said, over the COVID, over those 2 years, and over that time, the PGA Tour funded some tournaments to make sure that these guys had someplace to play, and that these charities got the money. Okay, so they used that money to get through that time. So I'm going to take back some of my biting comments from in the past against the tour and some of these other big golf organizations sitting on a wad of cash. They used it when they needed to. I'd like to see them do some other stuff with it, and I've got a list. If they ever want to call me, I'd be happy to go over it with them. But they did a good job keeping the tour going and paying some purses and paying the sponsors and paying the charities along the way. So Phil, you want to make a big deal about them sitting on some cash, and they turn a lot of money. They pay a lot of money to charity. They generate a lot of charitable funds. What are they up to? Over $2 billion and counting, right? So they do a lot of good, Carlos, and they create a lot of jobs. They bring a lot of money into these cities when these tournaments roll into those towns. I know what it does for Toledo when the LPGA comes to town, and that's only about 10 or 15% of what a PGA Tour brings to a town. So it's a big deal, and I don't know. They probably shouldn't be taking pot. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention too, and a lot of it gets lost in this, and I know I keep bringing this up, but the retirement plan these PGA Tour players have that Dean Beeman set up is absolutely phenomenal. And Tim Fincham, it's phenomenal. Okay, they can't afford to walk away from that. They can't even think about going someplace else, because that thing's going to pay them for the rest of their life. They got to get those 150 cuts in, and then they're golden, man. So the PGA Tour does a lot of good, unlike the PGA of America, who doesn't do crap for their people, the PGA pros, but the PGA Tour does a lot for their players because it's owned by the players. So there's my soapbox tonight, Carlos.
I thought you were not going to take shots right there, but you
just at the PGA, not the PGA Tour.
Okay. Let's get that clear. But no, I agree with you, and I guess, you know, for now this is where it stops. I don't see any big movements. Yeah, we might see now Greg come with something else. I mean, they're gonna pony up about $300 million to the Asian Tour, so they have to do something. Who's gonna be? I don't know. Again, like we mentioned, maybe somebody. The only way that I see might be some older players that would like to, hey, I can't earn that money anymore on the PGA Tour. I'm not going to the Ryder Cup anymore. I don't have anything else to look for. I'm not even going to be a captain in the Ryder Cup, so I don't care about this. Let's just get some money and be sure that I can retire with enough money if they invested well, right? Or maybe some youngsters that are coming up and like Adam Scott was saying, you know, if you're a young guy, this would be a great opportunity for you. So who knows? I don't know. And the thing is that we're going to be looking forward to see what happens. If anything, I don't think any in the near future would be any competition at all for the PGA Tour or anything that is going to hamper them at all in anything. So Phil Mickelson, I think it just hurt him more than what he was doing trying to help them. If he was trying to help them, right? So anyway, any final words before we close it?
No, that's all we know this right now, folks. And but be advised that we watch this thing every day. I'm totally enthralled by it. I watch for every little piece that comes by, and I'm constantly texting Carlos and say, hey, look at this, look at this. So if there's something else comes up, we'll be back to tell you about it for sure.
Most definitely. So thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest in the golf world news and information. So thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe to our channel. The link is on there in the description. Thank you for joining.